Hello, Christian here, the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. And today's workshop, you get just me. And I want to talk to you what is the most important things on goal setting. Did you ever want to get your goals done? If you want to get your goals done, then stick around to the end because point number 5 is the most important point for you to get your goals done. But before we start, if you haven't done so, please send this information to somebody else who you feel can benefit from it. Also, make sure you comment on this because we read every single comment and we want to make sure that we serve you better than anybody else. And then finally, make sure you click that notification bell so you know every time you get a new podcast from us. Again, my name is Christian. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. And today we're going to explore on how you're getting your goals done. And you're wondering, how come you talk to me about goals in February? And it's really simple because I talk to so many people and all of them gave up on their goals. I just got off the phone with a friend of mine who has been setting goals. And he said, you know what? I'm just done. I'm not going to hit every single one of them. So for me, there's 5 basic steps, what you need to do well in order to complete your goals and get your goals done. And as I said earlier, 5 is probably the most important one. So I hope you stick around. So with that, let's get going. Number 1, why is goal setting important? And you hear this all the time. It's so important and all the different things you need to do. But I think it's as simple as this. All you need to do is 3 goals for your business, 3 goals for you personally, and 3 goals for your health. And you're asking me, how come it's as simple as that? Because as you hit the 3 goals for your business or your personal, it's really important that all of your goals are fluid. So what does this mean? So it means that I can update them at any time. Not only can I update it, it can change it. And that's the greatest thing about setting a goal because you are in charge of it. And you probably heard it said that more people spend more time planning their next vacation than planning their future. And you don't want to be one of them. So it's really important that you get really clear of what you want to get done on your goals. So write it down. All you need is 3 goals for personal, 3 goals for if you have a business or if you want a business related things, and 3 things for your health. And you gotta ask, how come health? As most of you guys know, I had a little health scare, not that long ago. And for me, I always felt that if you don't have your health, you have nothing else. So health is really, really important. So goal number 1, why is it important to set your goal? So number 2, how do I set effective goals? So if you go to the disruptivechef.com and go reach out to us, we're more than happy to send you our goal setting workshop. And we give you all the information you need to set our goals effectively. So you need something called a SMART goal. And you probably heard it said it's specific, it's measurable, it's actionable, and it's relevant. And it needs to be also time bound. So what does that mean? So for me, it's really simple. I need to be really specific. So if one of my personal goals is I want to hit 3 million in revenue, so I made it really specific. I have 3 million in revenue. It needs to be measurable. I want to have 3 million by October of 2025. Then you're saying, hey, how can I make it achievable? And in my achievable, I write in, I need to learn these things, or I need to reach out to this person, or I need to partner with somebody to get there. Then we have why it needs to be relevant. And for me, I make it a personal story. For me, 3 million is important. As you guys know, I made 40% of my organization employee owned. So I want to make sure that my employees are set. And then also, I want to make sure that we are really focused in what we do. So for me, that's relevant. And how is it time bound? Because our year ends in July. So for us, we want to have July, but then also have the next goal from July to December. So for me, my goals go for 2 different ways. It's July 1st and December 1st. So really, really important. And also smart. There's two things I want to kind of add on top of that. You need to write your goals down. So that's besides all of that. And the reason you need to write it down, because I honestly believe when we write things down, we give it form. We create. The reason I have this word up here is because we're creating conversation and we create in writing down. And you talked about actionable. So for me, actionable needs to be, this is what I'm going to do to hit my goals. This is the person I'm going to meet in order to get my goal done. And this is how I support my community to get my goal done. Really, really important. And finally, you need to have a reflection time and you need to redefine it. So, why do you think this is important? And for me, that's really, really simple because as you go through your goals and you hit it, for an example, if you don't reflect on it and if you don't refine it, you cannot be stuck. So it needs to be a fluid thing to get your goals done. So that was number two. What is a smart goal? And then for me, number three, staying motivated and focused. So for me, that's the biggest thing. And for there, I always tell people you need to become part of an organization which thinks like you. So if it's a mastermind or anything else, and I encourage masterminds because I belong to a few of them. And by belonging to a mastermind, I have people which hold me accountable. They're saying, Christian, you said you're going to hit 3 million in revenue. You only 2 million. What happened to you? So for me, having somebody who holds me accountable, it's massive. And we all need somebody who sees in us what we don't see in ourselves. So that's really, really important. So staying motivated and staying focused is one of those things you can't do without because you need to know then who to call when I need help, or who can I call when I feel stuck, or who can I call who gives me honest feedback. So really, really important. So goal number one, hey, why is goal setting important? Number two, how do I create effective, smart goals? And then three, staying focused and staying motivated. So for me, number four is accountability and update your progress. So really important. You need to have a plan, or if you use an app or an accountability partner, it's really important that you measure your progress. Because if you have that progress in place, if you call it progress or milestone, it makes no difference. You need to have this in place. Hey, if I want to hit 4 million by the end of the year, quarter one, I need to have 1 million. Quarter two, I need to have 2 million, 3 million, and so on. Also, if you feel like you want to start your own business or your own side hustle, it's really, really important that you give it time and that you write it down by February 1st. I will have this done. On March 1st, I will have 3 prospects. On July 1st, I have 3 new businesses. Whatever that is for you, you need to write it down. Because in order for you to track your progress and hold yourself accountable, that's really, really important. And I think it's one of the things why people do not hit the goals. Because for me, writing down the goal is one thing, but for me, it's even more than that. I write down a personal reason why it's important for me to hit that goal. And that alone makes me work a little harder. That alone makes me take that call or work to 7 o'clock at night or get up a half hour earlier or an hour earlier because this is part of who I want to be. And also for me, part of number 4 is that you review your goals all the time. Mine are leaned right against the wall over there, and I see them every time I leave my office. So it's really, really important that you hold yourself accountable and that you progress or track your progress. So by celebrating milestones and obtaining momentum and getting that done, that's what keeps you motivated. Not only does it keep you motivated, it keeps you going. And if you have the right person to call when I feel stuck, it makes all the difference. And before we get to 5, hopefully you find value in our 5 points. Hopefully you write on the comments below why you feel important 1, 2, 3 is important to you. Having an honest conversation around your goals is the best conversation you will always have. And also sharing, because honestly, we create in conversation. You need somebody in your group who looks out for you, who has your best interest in mind, somebody who knows when you fall down, they pick you up. You need somebody who is honest with you. Hey, I think that goal, the reason you don't hit it because you do this. So it's really, really important to have that group of mentors or whatever you want to call them in your world. And for me, the single best thing is belong to a mastermind group. Because in my mastermind group, they're holding me to account. And every time I know I go to a meeting, I work extremely hard because I want to make sure I hit all the goals. So before we start with number 5, again, I hope you had your comments below. I hope you have that notification sent. And I hope you find value in what we teach you today. And so what is number 5? And number 5, I honestly believe, is the single largest reason why people don't hit their goals. And it's overcoming obstacles. And you got to ask, hey, Christian, why is that important? Because the universe has ways or systems in place to hold you to account. And there might be a setback for you. There might be a health scare, or there might be something busy going on. And I honestly believe that the universe puts things in the obstacles for you to see that you're serious about that goal, that when you failed, you know how to get back up. Also, if you have self-doubt on who to reach out to. And there's always unexpected setbacks happening. And for me, I told you earlier, I just spoke with an old friend of mine. I haven't talked to you in a year, full transparency. But I know every time I'd call him, we start off where we left off. He's a really good friend. And I told him that, hey, I struggled with this. I had this as an issue. What do you think? You know me better than anybody. You know me for almost 30 years. And he gave me honest feedback. And you know what? He was right in every single feedback he gave me. We all need somebody who sees in us what we don't see in ourselves. So because there is going to be failure, there's going to be self-doubt, and there's certainly unexpected setbacks. And all we need is somebody who comes to you, hey, you got this. Have you ever tried this? You need to get to know this people. You need to make this phone call, or let me introduce you to this person. That's all it takes to do it. I use this platform for an example. We're doing this podcast now for almost a year and a half. And a good friend of mine, Sean Walchef, said to me, hey, Christian, you want to become the show, not the commercial. And it took me a long time to realize what he meant by that. And now doing 100 plus episodes, I feel motivated to share my ideas, my thoughts, my progress, my struggles with you, because I honestly feel that's how you learn. I still don't like the way I look on camera. I still don't like the way I sound. But Sean said to me, Christian, there's no better way for you to get your information out there. And he's absolutely right. And there's days I don't want to do a podcast. And I'm doing it because I made a commitment. And if I fall short, I go to my team or I call like somebody I just called. And he says, Christian, how dare you not to do that podcast? How dare you not talk about how to set goals? Because for me, I started really taking goal setting serious about 4 or 5 years ago. And now when I look back through my goals, I hit almost every single one of them. And for now, when we as a family have our, New Year's Eve, we do like a vision board. My vision board changed every single year. It just didn't change because I changed. It's because my goals changed. So it's really important for you that you have somebody in your corner, because the unexpected setbacks will happen. And there's no better way for you to get really clear or get a person in your orbit or whatever you want to be. I'm such a big fan of masterminds because you know what? If you don't pay, we don't pay attention. And somebody probably gave you really good advice and you never followed it. You know why? Because it was free. And I don't mean this in a negative way that it was free because we just really don't pay attention like that. For me, one of my masterminds is 45,000 a year. Okay. We meet 4 times a year. And every time we meet, you better believe I sit there with pen and paper and I write down everything they say. I write down every advice I get and I follow up on every advice. Because for me, the 45,000 hurts. So now for you, you don't need to pay 45,000. You could pay a lot less. And I enjoy, by the way, join our mastermind. We call it the House of Human. You could join us and say, hey, Christian mentioned it on a podcast. You get 2 months for free. But it's really important that you belong to a group which looks out for you, which not just looks out for you, which shares unbiased results or feedback with you. How often do you feel you want to get to a certain point and you weren't really sure how you're going to get there? But then you meet somebody who has done what you have done and they have a 50-minute, half-hour, 2-hour conversation with you. And it took your learning curve from 2 years down to a few weeks. And that's the beauty of a mastermind. So if you haven't done so, check out the House of Humans, which is our mastermind. And I give you 2 months for free. Because I honestly believe by adapting your goals when circumstances change without losing sight of your vision, you will fail. And having somebody in your corner who supports you without any strings attached, which support you because they want you to succeed, because they support you because they've been there. They did exactly what you wanted to do. They failed exactly where you failed. It makes all the difference. And if you asking me, Christian, hey, what would you tell your younger self? I would say find the best mastermind you can afford and join today. It was the single best thing I did in my group and the single best thing I did in my career and the single best thing I did in my life personally and in business. And that's for me is as simple as we started out this conversation. Having goals is really important. And when you give up on your goals, it's up to you. And we are here to make sure that you don't give up. So, what are the 3 things you need to do? You write 3 simple goals for you on your business or your career. And you write down 3 simple things. This is what I will do. Then you write down, hey, this is really why it's important to me. And it's important to me because if I don't hit that, I feel like that I'm just no good, that I feel like I let people down. It's because I don't want to let myself down. And then you write down what is or who is the person you need to become. And sometimes it's as simple as going to somebody who has that skill you don't have, that you go to somebody who has overcome what you try to overcome. And that sometimes that you go to that person which has achieved what you want to achieve. There's nobody better to do that. The second thing is you write down 3 things, what you need to get done personally. I want to drive this car. I want to have this kind of house and really get elaborate on it, write on it. What is it going to look like? Where is it going to be placed? How many garages does it have? How many people does the bedrooms hold? And all the stuff. Get as detailed as you possibly can. And then 3 things on your goals. And especially your health goals. So it's as simple as that. So thanks for being here today. We talked about why is goal setting important, and hopefully this conversation helped you. Then we talked about what is a SMART goal. Then we talked about, hey, how to stay motivated and how to stay focused. Then we talked about accountability and how do I track my progress. And then the final and the best or the biggest goal for me is how do you gonna act when things block your process? And I call it overcoming obstacles because it will happen. Life is not that easy coast. There is things which are gonna come up because the universe knows or wants to check that you are serious. And it's as simple as that. And as we said earlier, if you want to have our goal setting workshop and our tools, please reach out to the Disruptive Chef. Go in there and ask for the sheets. We send it to you for free, absolutely at no cost, because we want everybody to have goals and hit those goals. So hopefully you found value in today's conversation. I hope you wrote on the bottom board what your goals. How did you get there? How did you hit your goal every year? Also, if there is somebody in your friendship, make sure you send them this video and make sure you set the notification because it means the world to us to have you part of our network. So with that, I want to say thank you for being here today. If you haven't done so, make sure you like this episode and we see you at the next episode. I see you next Friday. Thanks, everybody.